One very interesting thing has occurred. I read yesterday that former Massachusetts Governor William Weld was thinking about mounting a challenge to Trump from the Republican side. Weld is your traditional Republican. He did run as a libertarian. He was on the Libertarian ticket in, I think, in 2016. But anyway, William Weld told an audience in New Hampshire today that he will try to take on Trump in the 2020 Republican presidential primary. And this means it's the first high-profile challenge from the Republican Party of this asshole in the White House. Weld said he would seek to determine over the coming months if he can raise enough money to continue his challenge to the president. I wonder what kind of a filthy nickname Trump's going to come up for William Weld, right? Anyway, Weld said he would run on a traditional Republican agenda, fiscal responsibility, yada, 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 and try to provide, which should not be very easy at all, a stylistic contrast to Trump. That could mean somebody who can speak in coherent sentences, which Trump can't. Somebody that can follow a thought beyond one sentence. Trump can't. Someone who can place in order of priority those elements necessary to governing. Trump has no fucking idea what those elements might be. So I guess that's what Weld means. In a speech today at the Politics and Eggs breakfast in Bedford, New Hampshire, he said, quote, "It is time for all people of goodwill," and our country is filled with people of goodwill, "to take a stand and plant a flag." He said, "In every country, there comes a time when patriotic men and women must stand up and speak out. In our country, this is such a time," end quote. And he opened his remarks with the complete denunciation of this asshole Trump. He called him, quote, "He acts like a schoolyard bully," end quote. And he condemned the Republicans in Washington. It's about time, especially this fucking useless lump of waste, Mitch McConnell. Oh, my God. Weld called them, he said they, quote, "all exhibit the symptoms of Stockholm Syndrome. We don't need 6 more years of the antics we have seen," end quote. This could be interesting, couldn't it? Now, how's he going to do it? How would Weld get the nomination? I have no idea whether he will or not. My non-expert guess would be he doesn't have an ice cube's chance in hell. But even though Trump remains popular with the halfwits in this country, his Republican base, Weld noted in an interview earlier this week that even if he doesn't succeed, Weld doesn't, a potential side benefit from Weld's perspective would be to weaken Trump so that in the general election a Democrat will win the presidency. I don't think there's any doubt that's going to happen. Weld pointed out that recent history has demonstrated the effect that such challenges to a sitting president, how effective they've been. In 1992, George Herbert Walker Bush faced a challenge from the right from Patrick Buchanan, who embarrassed Pappy Bush. Buchanan won 37% of the vote in New Hampshire primary. And that weakened Pappy Bush, who then lost to Democrat Bill Clinton. Remember, Clinton only got about, 42% of the vote first time. Gerald Ford had to fend off a Republican challenge from Ronald Reagan in 1976 before Ford lost to Jimmy Carter. And then, of course, Reagan came back and defeated Carter for a second term. Anyway, Weld was blunt, according to the Times. Is that where I got this? Yeah, the Washington Post. Weld was blunt about the steep odds against him winning the nomination. Given Trump's ability to have twisted and perverted the Republican Party into the American Fascist Party as it is now. Trump has so destroyed the Republican Party that, and Weld understands that, and Weld is a traditional Republican, that Weld doesn't know if he can survive in the primary season against someone who has turned the Republican Party into the American Fascist Party. I want to say American Nazi Party, but not quite. American Fascist Party. But he said that he felt compelled, Weld did, to act, to do this after observing the horror, the lies, the deceit, the deception, the tumult of the Trump campaign and the administration for the past 2 years. This is what Weld said, quote, "I'm here because I think our country is in grave peril, and I cannot sit quietly on the sidelines any longer," end quote. Grave peril. And then Weld outlined an agenda that was specific, more so than laid out by these other Democratic presidential candidates so far. I'm really tired of hearing all of the Democratic potentials. All of these people, I'm running too, so am I, I'm going to run, I'm running. And the reasons for running that they have given so far is just boilerplate political bullshit. See, the Democrats, even up against, or especially up against a slob, fuckwad fascist like Trump, which you think would be so easy to defeat, the president of your local PTA should be able to beat Trump. But Trump is such an insidious cancer, just a destructive son of a bitch who has totally changed the Republican Party, that these Democrats that oh, I'm going to lead no, you're not. All you Democrats better sit the fuck down and get into some kind of a meeting among all you 20 or 25 or 50 or 1,000, whatever the fuck it is, Democrats who think you're going to defeat Trump. Let me suggest this. The big meeting of the Mafia 5 families in upstate New York occurred in, 1953, 1954? And the FBI had wired where this meeting was going to take place. I think they wired it. They got lots of photographs. They got lots of license plate numbers, so they knew who was there. That was in the early 50s. It took them another 50 years after taking on the Mafia, and even with the Mafia killing each other at an alarming rate with great success, it still took the feds decades to defeat them. And I think you could say that the Mafia has been defeated. Oh, they're still doing bullshit stuff. But as a powerful figure, organized crime now is all centered on Wall Street. The hedge fund traders and the arbitrageurs, whatever the fuck that is, and the people who manipulate currencies and so on and so forth. Those are the real gangsters. The Mafia, bunch of fucking punks. What are they doing? Drugs and prostitution, right? So these Democratic candidates who have declared that they are going to run in 2020, most of them are going to have the shit slapped out of them because they don't know what it's like to go up against a gangster. It's hard enough to go up against a political opponent, but to go up against a gangster who will use his Twitter machine and his snotty remarks and his 10-year-old statements to just slash and cut. And sure, the Democratic candidates are not going to be defeated because Trump uses 10-year-old language, but with hundreds of these little tiny cuts that Trump is so good at delivering, eventually you bleed to death. Right? So, good luck, assholes. No, so many of the self-proclaimed candidates so far, I don't know why they're doing it. Vanity? I mean, some of these people who have declared they're going to run for president, who the fuck ever heard of them 2 years ago or a year ago? This is not good. I appreciate new blood. I've said many, many, many times that it's young people who are going to save us, but not on that level. It starts down here. It starts at grassroots level. If some of these candidates want to be a real candidate for president, then display your ability to organize on a local level, a state level, a congressional level. So you got elected to Congress or the Senate. Okay, good on you. If you got elected to the Congress, that means you have a constituency of what, 60, 70, 80,000, 100,000, 500,000 people, whatever it is in your congressional district. But you're talking about a population, a voting population potential of 160 million. And who the fuck has heard of you outside of your home district? But I digress. I'm sounding like I know what I'm talking about, and I don't. I just know that a lot of these already declared candidates for president on the Democratic side are just going to have the shit slapped out of them, and they're going to disappear, and they're going to dilute whatever strength the Democratic Party could put together. Now, I realize it's only 2019. I realize we're way out, but not so much. But they're going to dilute the power that could come from getting together in their little presidential caucus group and deciding 2 or 3 candidates, not 25. What the fuck? That's crazy. Oh, well. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.